Hey guys, welcome to Speakers for the Dead. My name is Martin. I'm here to talk to you guys about something really controversial, so buckle up, I'm about to speak my mind. I understand that it will upset some people, and just know that it's not intended for that purpose, but it is intended to make you think for yourself. Here are my current thoughts on the climate of religion in 2018. Too many people are living life as though they get to choose whether there's a God or not, but none of them are actually stopping to think whether that choice is theirs to make in the first place. So right off the bat, let me just say that most people just trust scientists at their word for the data that they're collecting. And basically they're just telling us what they believe, and they're using the data they find to corroborate that, which is what everyone says that Christians do, but scientists do it more than Christians. Even in the scientific community, not all scientific scholars agree on the information that the data represents, and scientists really have no major unbiased evidence for the major claims they have against the world and the way Christians see it today. The greatest tragedy I see in this is that people are not thinking for themselves. So stop and think that if we cannot choose how we came to be because it was before you and I were born, then a creator is actually one of the valid options. Scientists will change their answers a dozen or maybe 100 times within a century about different subjects. The Bible can't do this because in the Bible it says you're not supposed to change the words. So that's significant because in the Bible, it explains the world today and has still not been wrong with irrefutable evidence. Why do people want God to be alive so bad? Inherently, the most amazing thing that can be said about the Bible is that there's proof for it all over the world. The Bible also says it would be attacked and mocked, and its believers would be despised by all people. In fact, that has never stopped happening in the last 3,500 years of provable history. Do you not stop and wonder why a God creation cannot be taught in a school as an option for life's existence when you cannot prove that God does not exist in the first place? This is insanity. Let us use science to seek truth, whatever that may mean. Let's go at evidence as for what it exactly says, and not for what we think it says or use our own bias on. Furthermore, I would argue that people should consider the depth of a book that has not been wrong over 3,500 years' time. It is convenient and would be great to consider that there wouldn't be a God, because that would mean that there's no moral guideline for all of us to follow. But that is not anyone's choice to decide for all people. You and I must individually decide for ourselves. Do you not feel that we have a soul when the very existence of emotion or a conscience proves that we're more than just animalistic tendencies? Does bacteria have emotions or a conscience? We know that it doesn't. And so the only real answer we can have for these things is that we don't know where emotion or a conscience comes from, and we can't prove it with science in either case. Then how do we get these traits? Tell me, does a duck know why genocide is wrong? Does a dog care about furthering his career in the circus? Does mankind even care about the fact that we eat beef and pork? No, because we know that animals are not humans, and humans are not animals. If fish were to talk, we would not eat them. I contend that you have a soul, because you know right from wrong, just like I do, and you know what it's like to have heartbreak and lose a partner that you loved. How would you suppose a human evolves and develops a conscience or emotion? Science does not have answers to this because never in observable history have we seen a fish turn into a cat and then a banana and start walking. Neither have we proven what makes emotion in the first place. A scientist can believe anything they want, but doesn't that leave you with belief in their speculation? In the end, that means that you have faith in what scientists tell you. After all, what is religion if not a belief in something that you don't have definitive proof for? Are you going to bet your existence on someone else's speculation? So I ask you this now with a very heavy heart. What happens to your soul when you die? Some of you believe in ghosts. Some of you believe in tarot card reading. Some of you believe in horoscopes. And some of you believe in other dimensions. I promise you there are things in this world that science cannot understand or make sense of. Exorcisms do in fact happen all around the world. There are rumors of things that you've heard before that you know you cannot explain away, and especially not with science. In this, I'm both humbled and horrified that people care very little about where they come from. They say, I don't believe in God because he doesn't exist. I'm scared for you. If we're all honest with ourselves, no one can know for certain if there is no God. Even Richard Dawkins, probably the most outspoken and well-known atheist in history, told the Archbishop of Canterbury that he could not 100% be sure that there is no God, but he didn't want there to be one because he could not understand if there was. This makes him an agnostic. When you die, you will find out if you were right. Doesn't that terrify you? Is this not enough to make you want to commit a lifetime to finding out if you're right or not? So let's play a game. If you remove the Bible from the equation of figuring out how we were created, you're still left with over 50% chance that there is a creator because of the very perfection of our existence in the first place. The universe itself screams out the existence of intelligent design. Have you realized that the sun is at the perfect distance for us to survive on this planet? That the moon also controls our weather? The trees on this planet that we take for granted are completely separate organic living matter that would have to randomly create itself in order to give us air for survival. The possibility of our existence and creation being lucky is so infinitesimally small that evolution is below, I would say, 0.01%. After all, don't we all agree that a book cannot create itself? Did you know that each of your eyeballs has over 700,000 connecting points in the optic nerve to project what you're seeing as information to the brain? These all connect while you're developing in the womb. How do you suppose bacteria evolved that ability? Literally no one knows. Don't you understand? Now that was without the Bible. You're looking at probably 70% probability that there is a creator. Now adding in the fact that there is a collection of 66 books written by 35 different people over a 1,500-year time span with no plot holes, this can seriously be proven. The collection of books predicted the future in the Old Testament and gives a chillingly accurate description of the landscape in each time period, which can be backed up with thousands of archaeological digs done in the Middle East. If you stop to read the Bible, you will find that this book has no errors in it. And you will also find that much of it was written for today and wouldn't have made sense 2,000 years ago when it was finished. In addition, reading it shows you that these people felt without a doubt that they were telling the absolute fact in their lives. This collection of books that we now call the Bible was written by many people who were actually killed for saying that they interacted with God. So now you're combining the 70% of probability that there is a creator with the fact that there's a book that was written about him. Then combine those two things with the magnificence of creation. And this puts the likelihood of a creator at least 99% probability. Look at it this way. If you were asked to pick one card out of a deck of 52, and it was to mean that you'd lose your life, but the other 51 cards gave you infinite wealth, who would say no thanks to these odds? So no, Christians aren't stupid. Like, this stuff really backs up a faith that's hard to disprove when you really look into it. It's for these very reasons that I'm of the absolute standing that I would die proclaiming God as the creator and Jesus as the savior for all of us. Whether I die natural or otherwise is of no consequence to me. I would even argue that it is likely I will be killed for my unshakable faith. For Satan hates people, and if I'm trying to save the people he hates, he will likely have me killed. Probably by people that hate me for trying to save them from others telling them not to think for themselves in the first place. So understand, this very video puts a target on my head, and I don't even care. I plead and pray after reading this that some of you actually consider what life means. If you accept at the very least that you don't know if there's a creator, start there. Search truth. In the beginning of my search, I cared very little whether there was a God or not. I only cared about what was true and what we could prove. Consider both sides, because once you start picking things apart, you'll notice that evolution itself cannot be proven. It breaks laws of science that are considered unbreakable by their same community. But more on that in another video. I thank you all so much for watching this video, and as always, we do not judge you guys for where you are on your personal journey, and keep up with us as we keep presenting more information on subjects like these in the future. Also, I'm happy to answer questions down in the comments if you would leave them. Please share this video if it helped you come to Christ. I've included in the card above on my right that is a link to my last video, which talks about the testimony of how I came to Christ myself. I believe that anyone who watches my last video will have a hard time disproving the truth and accuracy of the Bible. So I am pleading and praying for those of you who watched that video, and this video for that matter, that you would understand the existence of a creator can never be disproven, and for you to stop and consider why any of us should want a world without God anyway. Anyway, thank you and God bless. We'll see you guys next time.